esteemed judges, I introduce you all to Astro Harbour, a visionary project that envisions a future where humanity thrives beyond Earth's confinements. Picture a world where, with the help of sustainable practices and development, along with technological advancement and innovation, propels the human civilization to thrive and flourish on Mars and the Moon. But before we delve into the details, let us look at the outline and the roadmap of our presentation. This slide will help us explain and take overview of the topics we'll cover today, ensuring we all are on the same page. The first topic we'll cover will be project overview. Third one will be project goals and objectives, transportation and components, habitability and life support systems. Sixth one will be age range. Seventh one will be governance and social structures. Eighth one will be economic activities. Ninth one will be healthcare and emergency services. 10th one will be communication components. 11th one will be environmental consideration. Last but not the least, we'll conclude. Now we'll move on to project overview, which will provide us a brief review of the main goals of our project. Here, in the first point, we speak about resource optimization and how we prioritize it. We strategically trade abundant space resources in order to generate capital. Additionally, our project will also focus on technological innovation, where we'll offer cutting-edge technological in design, along with it being futuristic and innovative. Earth's condition with pollution is no new, and we understand the urgent need of sustainable practices. Thus, in our project, we seek optimal solutions to alleviate strain on Earth's finite resources. Here, through International Space Collaboration for Peace (ISCP), we help Astro Harbour in fostering international space partnerships in peace, transcending borders. Lastly, Astro Harbour will pioneer orbital debris cleanup system, or also referred to as ODCS, which will address the growing issue of space debris in space and take forward future generations for sustainable future space projects. Now we'll move on to project goals and objectives, which will provide us with more specific goals and objectives of our project. Firstly, coming into transportation, where we'll utilize the cutting-edge technology talked about earlier and create cutting-edge electric rovers and Hyperloop systems for efficient inter-habitat transportation on Mars and the Moon. Moving on to location, Astro Harbour will be situated on two platforms, which would be Astro UTOPIA City, by its name, would be located on the Utopian plains, Mars, and Astro Lunar Station, which will be, again by its name, would be located on the Moon, near Shiv Shakti, where hydrogen is abundant, which can be used either to make rocket fuel or to make oxygen. We'll also utilize state-of-the-art dome and cylindrical structures for sustainable habitation that will last easily for a century. Moving on to communication, we'll establish Astrowave network, which will provide us interplanetary communication and real-time data services. Now no longer have to wait 5 to 20 minutes to receive one text message. Moving on to habitability, we'll create secure and habitable environments, including multi-layered hulls and bubble shields for protection against radiation, thermal extremes, and microgrid impacts, ensuring the safety and well-being of inhabitants. Governance. When it comes to governance, it's even a critical pillar when it comes to outer cosmos. Thus, Astro Harbour will establish governance structures for effective resource management, ensuring equitable distribution and sustainable growth of economy and the colony. Coming to economic activities itself, we will promote economic activities through trade, resource exchange, and industrial developments. We'll invest the same generated capital back into infrastructure, education, and tourism. Given this with regulations and government issues, we'll plan this with sustainability for long-term viability. Moving on to emergency services, where emergency services in Astro Harbour is not just a protocol but a promise. Thus, we'll implement a robust emergency response system including medical facilities, evacuation protocols, and disaster management plans to ensure the safety and security of inhabitants. Moving on to healthcare, we'll provide advanced healthcare facilities and services, including telemedicine and emergency response systems to ensure the well-being and security of the inhabitants. Moving on to environmental consideration, where we'll implement sustainable practices to reduce the impact or minimize the impact of Astro Harbour being created on environment. We'll do this by using renewable energy sources, waste recycling, and ecological conservation efforts. Moving on to our budget, which gives us a blueprint for the allocated generated capital. We'll divide it among 3 platforms and 4 sectors, which would be Utopia City, Lunar Base, further expansion of the project. Where for technology, we'll invest a total of $1.5 billion, where each project will receive $500 million each. Moving on to infrastructure, we plan to invest $1.8 billion, where each project will again receive $600 million. For research and development, we'll invest a total of $1.2 billion, where each project can receive $400 million. And for safety and security, we'll again invest $1.5 billion, where each project gets $500 million each. Moving on to age range, where we'll plan out selective workforce strategy with age diversity, where in the initial phases of the project, we'll devote 11 to 12 months in meticulously planning out the workforce strategy of our project, where we'll discuss and hire people with varying professional backgrounds and varying in age, thus bringing in a variety of ideas and behavior to our team, where we'll bring varying skilled professionals such as doctors, engineers, and many more, including from all these age groups. Our aim is to create a dynamic team which would bring a wealth of expertise to Astro Harbour along with experience, ensuring its success. Moving on to the schedule of Astro Harbour, where in step 1 would be the exploration phase, where we'll conduct detailed surveys, deploy robotic explorers, and gather essential data for the project needed. In step 2, we'll use the same detailed data for the preparation phase, where we'll set up initial infrastructure including the habitat modules for the initial team that we hired earlier. Here is the phase where we'll start trading with Earth for abundant space resources to generate capital of $6 billion. And further invest it into step 3, which would be the implementation phase, where we'll establish permanent habitats, sustainable resource extraction methods, and governance structures. In step 4, we'll expand, grow the colony, and construct any hotels or other industries that are needed to thrive the economy. Along with that, we'll expand on resource extraction and develop new economic opportunities. In the next steps for Astro Harbour, we'll focus on finalizing the infrastructures, where we'll settle down the economy and think of ways to plan the budget for each year, where we'll try to expand the project and make it self-sustaining and support future colonization for economic activities. Thank you. Your commitment propels us forward, and we are discussing about a new era of space generation. Thus, thank you for joining me and Astro Harbour on this extraordinary journey to build a sustainable future in space. Thank you. Astro Harbour, connecting planets, connecting people.